In the previous movie tutorial, we covered the setup procedure for the main areas important to doing any audio recording within Nuendo. Once you have these options set up, it's time to determine exactly what you want to record and how you want to record it. Nuendo offers most of the traditional methods for tracking your audio into the program, as well as a few unique features that you can only find within the digital realm. Some of the most important features for recording are handled from the main transport bar. So let's start by taking a look at the controls in the transport bar. The first and most obvious function is the record button. This is the main button that starts any recording process within Nuendo. However, there are several functions tied to this button that enhance the overall recording functionality. But before we jump into those, take a notice here to the right that you also have your click on-off button and your pre-count on-off button. Below them is the tempo section, which provides you some extensive tempo editing capabilities, and we'll cover those functions in more detail in the synchronization chapter. Also take notice of the cycle or loop button. This can be used during recording to activate what is called cycle recording. This allows you to keep recording in a specific section without stopping or starting the transport for each take or pass. We'll look into these more in the cycle and multi-lane recording tutorial. Now moving over to the left, the first section we see is used to handle our punch-in and punch-out options, and pre- and post-roll settings. Next to that is where you can set the type of record mode that is activated when recording. Take note that some of these functions also pertain to MIDI recording, but for now, we are just going to focus on how they relate to recording audio. So now that we've got a feel for the layout, let's take a closer look at how these functions actually tie in with recording. Starting with the click section, the click button simply enables or disables the main metronome when playing or recording. The pre-count option determines whether Nuendo will pre-count a certain number of bars based on the tempo signature before it actually begins recording. This is useful if you need to get yourself in time or in beat with the tempo before you actually begin playing your instrument or start singing. More extensive settings for both of these options can be accessed by going to the transport menu and choosing Metronome Setup. Here you have options to adjust the volume of the metronome when it actually plays, options to generate a MIDI-based metronome, and also options for the pre-count, including how long Nuendo pre-counts before it begins recording. Moving on to the punch-in, punch-out section, these functions are primarily used to create an automatic record start and stop during playback. Punching in is useful when you need to accurately re-record a section within the existing audio material, and you want to hear what is already there up to the point where you want to start recording. The punch-out point automatically deactivates the record button at the end of your newly recorded section, and the track continues playing what was previously there. The pre-roll and post-roll functions are used to create a lead-in and lead-out time when recording. With the pre-roll function activated, Nuendo will roll back its play point by the set amount before beginning its playback and recording. By setting the post-roll, Nuendo will continue playback by the set amount before stopping the transport entirely. This is another useful tool for automating the recording process when you need to spend time in a certain area of a song, recording many takes over and over again. Moving to the left, we see the record mode options. These important options determine exactly how Nuendo will record the material you are recording. We will cover each of these methods in more detail later, but for now, I'll explain how each one affects the overall recording process. The first set of options, called the linear record mode, are specifically for dealing with linear recording, with the cycle mode turned off. The option for normal or merge simply sets Nuendo to record in a single straight line from the point where you start to the point where you stop. If you record over an area where something is already there, Nuendo will simply overlap the existing material. An important point to remember is that Nuendo only plays back the material that is currently on top or visible from the project window. So any material that is underneath or hidden will remain silent. If you record using the replace mode, Any existing material on the track will be replaced with the newly recorded material. However, the old material will not actually be deleted altogether. You can still access it from the pool should you find yourself in need of it again. The second set of options, called Cycle Record Mode, only apply when you have the cycle mode turned on in the transport. The first two options, Mix and Overwrite, only apply to recording MIDI, which we'll discuss in detail in the MIDI recording movie tutorial. However, the next option, Keep Last, tells Nuendo to keep the last take that you recorded. So if you're looping over a certain 8 bars of the songs and you keep recording different takes, trying to get the right one, Nuendo will keep the last take that was recorded from a complete cycle lap of those 8 bars. The final choice, the stack option, is a very unique and powerful method for recording, in which Nuendo will take each pass or lap and display it as a separate track or lane within the main audio track. This allows you to see each take separately and edit out the parts you don't want from different takes. The end result is a single take that contains all the best parts of each individual pass. We'll look at this in more detail in the cycle and multi-lane recording movie tutorial. So in closing, we can see that the transport is a central area that you will find yourself using frequently throughout the recording process in Nuendo. Not only does it serve as a central point from which to activate your recordings, but it also has several key features that determine how Nuendo handles and works with the recorded audio material. Now that we have a good feeling for the main functions, we'll take a close look at each of the various recording modes and how to apply them in your everyday recording environment.